More and more people are working out of their homes and have established home offices of some sort. Usually it is a separate room, but not always. As a professional tax preparer, you may even do so yourself, and as you prepare Schedule Cs, you will certainly encounter clients who do as well. Let's discuss some guidelines for deducting the expenses of a home office. The mere fact that someone has an office in the home does not mean that they're eligible to deduct their related expenses. In most cases, to be deductible, the taxpayer must use a specific area of the home exclusively for the business. Using the area for both business and personal purposes does not meet the exclusive use test. The taxpayer is not required to meet this exclusive use test if he uses part of the home for either inventory storage or as a daycare facility. In my experience, failure to meet the exclusive use test is the most common reason a person cannot take the home office deduction. In most cases, when I've asked a person where they have their office, it's oftentimes been located somewhere in the home also used for personal activities. For example, they may have a shop in the garage where they also park their personal car or store their Christmas decorations. Or they may have their desk in the family room where the family also watches TV. The more they avoid mixing personal and business activities in a given area of their home, the stronger their argument for the home office deduction. In addition to having exclusive business use, the home must also be the principal place of business. Under this test, the taxpayer must use the home exclusively and regularly for the business's administrative or management activities. He must also have no other fixed location where he conducts substantial administrative or management activities for the business. If the home does not qualify as a principal place of business based on the previous rules, he can still qualify using the relative importance of the activities performed at each location. If the relative importance does not determine the principal place of business, he can also consider the time spent at each location. For those who meet the requirements of a home office, the tax benefits can be substantial. The taxpayer can deduct a portion of the expenses for his personal residence that may or may not otherwise have been deductible. Deductible expenses reduce both taxpayers' income and self-employment taxes. For instance, if a person itemizes, he may deduct property taxes and mortgage interest regardless of whether or not he has a home office deduction. But if he doesn't itemize and takes the home office deduction, he can deduct the business use portion of these expenses, plus rents, utilities, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. Furthermore, transportation expenses from home, which is really the main office, to other business locations converts from non-deductible commuting expenses to deductible business travel expenses. The preferred method of determining the business use percentage of the home is the area method. This is where you divide the area of the home used for business by the total area of the home. For example, you have a client who has a 2,000 square foot home and the office space happens to be 500 feet. You divide 500 by the 2,000 and come up with 25% business usage. Direct expenses for office usage in the home are not subject to the business usage percent. In other words, they are 100% deductible. These expenses are those which arise completely as a result of having a business, such as paying a janitorial service to maintain the portion of the home allocated to the office. All these potential deductions could make having a home office quite advantageous tax-wise. As a professional tax preparer, you will run into this situation quite often. So, be prepared and check the workbook for more information. There are also special instructions and regulations for those taxpayers who use their homes as daycares. For example, in a daycare operation, additional liability insurance purchased solely to cover the daycare operation would be completely deductible. I always advise my daycare provider clients to call their insurance agents and ensure their homeowner's policy has a rider covering daycare services in their home. Many taxpayers don't realize the importance of this insurance rider until I tell them about it. Also, in the case of a home used for daycare, there could be special furniture needed for the children, like little chairs so that they can sit at the table, or possibly a washing machine and dryer. If the taxpayer washes and dries the children's clothes on a regular basis, then those expenses would be wholly deductible, just like anything that is specifically purchased for the daycare, perhaps food or a swing set in the backyard or something like that. In the case of a daycare, particularly one where the children have access to the entire home, time spent with children in the home is a primary method of determining business usage rather than square footage.